Greetings, class. Good to see you folks in Journalism 105. Here I am in my study in Fort Collins, and we'll be conversing this way a time or two. Hopefully, while we're talking, we won't be interrupted by our three dogs who, I don't know, might be disturbed by the visit of a dastardly mailman or someone trying to deliver a magnificent package to us. I tell you, that mailman, every time he brings us our sweepstakes winnings, we just hate it. And the dogs want to kill him. But hopefully this won't happen. And since the door back there is closed, we won't see any of our five cats saunter across the keyboard, which is a very common occurrence whenever I'm trying to get something done here in my study. But we've had security measures. That door is going to work very well, I'm sure. Yep, we have 3 dogs, 5 cats, 2 rabbits. They all made the trip with us from Texas a few years ago, and they all love Colorado. They, I would say, absolutely unanimously in favor of Colorado, and certainly the case with the family that accompanied me as well. Loving it in Colorado. I'm a native of this state. However, for 25 years I lived apart from it, and I am very glad to be here once again. After graduating from Colorado State University, I was down in the little town of Alamosa, where I was editor of the newspaper for 6 years. And then I went to Texas, where I had a magnificent assignment as the opinion page editor of the Waco Tribune-Herald. In that capacity, I wrote columns that were read not only in our community, but in cities all over the place, as I was distributed by the New York Times news service. I was also at one point syndicated by Creators Syndicated out of Los Angeles, and then now I am self-syndicated, and I have some columns I write a column that appears in some newspapers. Point of that is that I'm not a former journalist, I am a journalist. I in fact, am a contract editor for Scripps newspapers out of Florida, 3 newspapers for which I do edit some of their copy right here. And so once again, I am not a former anything. I'm a working journalist, and of course, teach classes at Front Range. I'm an English comp instructor in addition to teaching journalism. So there you go. I look forward to learning more about you folks in the various ways that we can. We're in a little community, and I think it's a lot more intimate than a lot of people want to think. Online instruction is. We're going to demonstrate it. Well, I need to tell you about 2 key assignments, and they're right here on the screen. The first, of course, is the media project. I hope that you'll take a look at the assignment, and then I'll be looking for your proposals soon. The media project is comprised of 2 components. One is the paper that you're going to write, and 2 is something that supplements it with a visual component, or well, we'll just say options could be PowerPoint, webcast, screencast, podcast, or if in fact those things are not something you feel comfortable with, you could do an annotated bibliography. And I will be posting the criteria for such a thing on our website in case, just to help you take advantage of that. All right. The paper that you're going to write, I want it to be thesis driven, meaning it's not something that looks like it came out of an encyclopedia, but something that is actually has a direction, a thesis that you are supplying, and that you're supporting in the paper. It will. You also have some supplementary resources that you need to involve. I want to see their links too. So it'll be well researched, and I want you to do a good job of informing me about how the where you got the information. Um, but I'm not going to require MLA style, APA style, or Chicago style citation. I mean, this is a journalism course, all right? And newspapers don't use or websites don't use MLA style. And speaking as an English comp instructor, good for that. Oh, but we're going to want you to show off your research aggressively, all right? Um, when I talk about not being encyclopedic, I can imagine a paper that about, let's say, oh, I don't know, Julian Assange, founder of WikiLeaks, that starts out, Julian Assange was born on July 3rd, 1953, in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. His parents, Fred and Norma, were good citizens in the community, blah, blah, blah. Don't want it. Everyone's born somewhere. Everyone's born on some day. We want to know what Julian Assange did to make himself the presence in the media landscape that he is today. I'll give you an example of the type of writing I want to see in this assignment, and I'm sure you'll all deliver because generally the projects are super, very encouraging. Let's talk now about the biggest story in the world assignment. This is a very important assignment because I think it will transform the way you look at the news, the way you consume information, and all for the better. Um, so we're talking about 3 installments through the semester, and in each installment you're going to nominate 4 news stories: the biggest story in the world, in the nation, in the state, and in your community. You're going to, in very few words, probably no more than 30 or 40 words, tell us why each of these stories is so big, how it affects the lives of so many. And then after you've laid them all out, you're going to give us a very short critique of how the media have handled these stories. Have the stories been buried? Have they gotten play by multiple sources? Um, have those sources done justice to their significance? Um, let us know what you think about how the media performed. Now, when we talk about the biggest story in the world, we are trying to get you away from the staples of the most of the media, which are stories that are breaking. The mere fact that something is breaking doesn't make it a big story. It just means that the media involved have the toys to rush out and cover it for us. It doesn't make it important. The fact that a celebrity died may be a very big deal that day. Some important person is going to die tomorrow. Is it going to affect a lot of us? Well, emotionally, yes, but that matter is going to fade with time. There will be big deals like major airplane crashes. Maybe an airplane that disappears in the Indian Ocean and we can't find. Does that affect that many people in the world? Not necessarily. So start thinking about what really affects the most people and what truly is the biggest story. I will tell you that rarely is the biggest story in the world a breaking story. Occasionally you have invasions and you have wars that get set off, and those, sure, they have a time element that add to the drama. So I'm not telling you that you couldn't have a breaking story as the biggest story in the world, but generally that's not the case. Unfortunately, generally what drives the news is that temporal element, what is happening right now. So once again, hopefully you'll come away with this from this exercise being a much more discriminating consumer of the news. And I would sure love to send somebody uh, into a journalism career with this type of um, orientation about what truly is news. Yeah. Um, so let's do it. As we go along in this semester, I certainly hope you will email me if you have any questions, or if something does not look right on the website, something isn't activated to let you get your work done. Um, Teaching an online course involves a lot of bells and whistles, things that need clicking and enabling and disabling and all that. Things can go wrong, and I need you to inform me when something's not working, and if you have any question at all. Um, as I said, um, an online experience can be much more intimate than people assume, and by doing such things as letting you just see what your classmates are writing, proposing in the biggest story exercise, what their media projects look like, reacting to them, voting on them, all that. I think we're going to feel like we truly are an online community, and we're going to get more than just a better understanding of the media. All right. So you be sure and email me if you have a question or if something doesn't work. And we will see you the next time this amazing webcam thing works on my computer, if it does. See you then.